Hey guys, SuperHorrorBro Mike here, and in today's video we take a look at the latest update for Five Nights at Freddy's Plus. Now this is a Five Nights at Freddy's fan project, which is of course part of the official Fazbear Fanverse Initiative, and it's basically promising a darker and more visceral take on the original FNAF game. It's based in an alternate version of the universe where the rules of the lore can be rewritten and the gameplay modified. Recently, the developer Fiznom showcased a short 1-minute clip showcasing the first gameplay from FNAF Plus, in addition to a selection of brand new screenshots. So in today's video, we're just going to look at these teasers and get an idea of what FNAF Plus has in store for its fans. So let's begin with the gameplay, let's watch that through, react to it together, I'll see what I can pick up on, and then we'll move over to the screenshots themselves. So it's very grimy and dark looking in this office. Man, that actually looks really creepy. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's a lot more realistic looking than the original FNAF. It definitely has a more realistic looking art style, but it does retain the look of the original Five Nights at Freddy's. And also we just got some camera panning there, and we're getting some more here, look at this. So we can now actually pan the camera when we cut to different or certain cameras, it seems. I don't know if it's for everyone, but this one allows us to pan back and forth, so that's going to actually make it harder to play. Yeah, this doesn't look like we can pan this camera. That's more static. That's a new camera altogether, as is this actually. So some of these cameras are actually brand new. Oh man, I recognize that hallway though. That camera angle is the same, but again, we can move it this time. We can actually move the camera here. Got some safety tips there, and we're back in the office. Okay, so that was the clip, guys. There wasn't too much to look at in terms of animatronics, jump scares, anything like that. It was just environments mainly, at least as far as I could tell. I think all of his screenshots are like based on the gameplay we just saw. So what we'll do, instead of analyzing the gameplay, is we'll just break down each of the screenshots now. But what I loved about that gameplay as we went through it there, we just saw the animations, like the doors, the way they kind of opened and closed, the fan, and the way that span around, and all the other little sort of incidental animations in the environment looked really slick, really smooth. So the animation work is, you know, very strong already. The lighting is really great, you know, the little flickering of the lights, the dim surroundings, which makes everything feel far more oppressive, to my eye at least, than in the original Five Nights at Freddy's game. And just in general, the art style, like the look of it, is far more like gnarly and gritty and, like I said before, visceral than the original game. The redesigns of the animatronics on the Celebrate poster, as we can see, we have already seen those in clips from the game before, but they look really nightmarish compared to the original designs from Scott Cawthon. So yeah, I think this is very strong, very promising. The way we can pan the cameras around is going to add a lot to the gameplay. But let's dive into looking at each of the screenshots, and then we can properly like analyze what we're dealing with here. So as you can see, the screenshots are a lot sharper, a lot clearer than the video shared on Twitter. This is more how the game will look when it's on our computer screens. First of all, it's in widescreen, which is really nice to see because of course, the original game was in like 4:3 ratio. I think they did put it into widescreen when they ported it to like PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and Switch and stuff, but the version I've always played has not been in widescreen. So it's nice to have a widescreen Five Nights at Freddy's game. Also, the detail you can see here, all the little cables running up the wall at the back. But you can see on the wall, like there's a lot more detail in general in this environment than in the original Five Nights at Freddy's game. We can see the puppet mask up there, the marionette looks really, really freaky. That is a redesign, and I do wonder if we're gonna see, because this is of course an alternate take on the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's, could we see the puppets in FNAF Plus? That would actually be really cool if they do show up. We've also got this little kind of chef character as well. I don't know if we've seen that before. I don't recognize it from Five Nights at Freddy's, but I don't know if it's maybe appeared in one of the developers' other games, like the Pork Chop series they were working on before. So you guys can tell me in the comments if you recognize it, but definitely seems like a new mascot character there. Now the next image, it's 1 AM here. As you can see, we've turned away from the front of the security booth, and here we actually can see that there's a slight redesign to what the office originally looked like. We've got this kind of grating on the, well, it's like a window with a place you can speak through. And that's actually, I think, for guests of the pizzeria. They would come by and they would be able to speak to security. If we look to the official rules poster, we can actually say, it says, don't waste power, don't laze around, don't take the pens, don't let customers inside, don't make weird noises, don't stain the carpets, and don't allow refunds. So if people were to come to this booth to ask security for a refund, we were obviously told not to give it. Fazbear Entertainment are very penny pinching and nefarious as a company. It seems that's going to carry on with this sort of reimagining of the world. They're still going to be just as dastardly as they have always been and treat customers just as poorly as they always have. We can actually see there's a little clock up there which is called Frederick's, but it's a little like mascot clock, which is kind of cute but also kind of creepy looking just because it's so dirty and like disheveled. And then through the glass we can see there's an employees only door which is open and just some general clutter in the hallway. We also have this strange button down there, which I'm assuming is just the button to turn the light on, but there's like 3 lights under it, so I don't know what that means. Like, obviously we're gonna press that to light up the hallway to see if there's any animatronics there, but I don't know what the 3 lights below it mean. Maybe how much power is left on there? You can also see there's a sort of lever there which is to close the door, I imagine, to lock it down so no animatronics can come through. So we have to pull on that lever when we want to shut the door and sort of lock it down. The next image we have is of the sort of party room itself, where everybody would celebrate, have birthday parties, eat pizza, have a good time, in theory at least. I don't see any animatronic on here unless it's hidden in the darkness somewhere, but it's just kind of like a new look at this newly rendered environment. Looks pretty cool, not much more to say about it though, so I'm gonna go to the next screenshot. Next screenshot shows the other side of a room. Now we can actually see there's a kind of a grate over the window here rather than, you know, like a glass panel. So that's changed and the door has switched places with the window. We have the door button and the light button separate. So that does make me wonder what the light monitor on the other side of the screen actually relates to. Is that just a visual readout of how much power is left maybe? If we want to check the lights, we have to kind of pan over to this side, check the light here. Obviously we have a button rather than a lever to lock the door down. I don't know why that's different. I would assume there should be 2 levers, like to do the doors, but there isn't, there's a button here. We can actually see next to the grating, which by the way is not going to keep anything out, I don't think. Pretty sure an animatronic can tear through that pretty easily. But we can see it says safety first, and then it says 0 nights since the last accident. So it seems like something bad has happened just the other day, like literally the day before or the night before. There's obviously a lot of bad stuff going on in this pizzeria, and it's not very safe at all. There's some children's drawings as well there, which say My Fun Day, and they have the redesigned animatronics on them, and then a little statue of Balloon Boy BB in the corner there to the left. That's obviously his redesign. Next we have this hallway shot. Now this is showing the hallway in black and white. I'm not sure if this is some kind of modifier. You might notice that around the screen, like the map and the power reader down in the bottom left have all changed and they have this kind of Windows 95 look, like a really old computer readout look. That's because I remember the developer saying something about how they wanted to give people different options in the game, so you can actually like customize how the HUD looks and how like the interface looks in the game. So this is obviously one of the customization modes. I personally probably wouldn't use this one because I'm not too keen on how it looks, but I do appreciate the developer sort of taking the look of an old computer from the era that the game was based in and putting it into his game as an option for fans if they want to use it. Now this next one is actually really cool. This is a new area that hasn't been in the games before. It's a new camera and a new room, and it looks like it takes place backstage. It's the Lost and Found area, and as you can see there's a sort of Lost and Found poster there with different names which seem to be scratched out on it. We've got the Hoover there as well. The Hoover of course is a mascot from the FNAF games, but it's not a mascot in this game, it's just looks like a regular Hoover there. The clock mascot is in the trash there, and then we have a missing person poster, but the actual person has been torn off it. So I don't know who that relates to. It's most likely going to be one of the missing kids that William Afton abducted from the pizzeria and killed and then stuffed inside the animatronics. But again, it's something we'll probably learn more about when we play the game. I don't know how in-depth the story's going to be. I'm hoping there's actually quite an in-depth story to this game, because I remember it was the short film released for FNAF Plus, which was released last year, and it was really cool, and I would love to see some kind of cutscenes like that in the game. And then there's just a bunch of junk on the shelf, so let's move to the next image. Next image is of this board which says Helpy safety tips, and we can see Helpy on there. He's actually got a redesign as well saying thank you, and it says don't run, don't yell, don't scream, don't poop on the floor, stay close to mom, don't touch Freddy, don't hit, leave before dark. I think they were just the original rules from the original poster in the original FNAF game, so I think he's translated that exactly. Of course, sometimes we see the wording on those posters change as little Easter eggs are hidden throughout the game, so maybe that'll happen again in this version of the game, I'm not sure. It says My Day on the board there, and we've got lots and lots of posters, or pictures I should say, drawn by the kids who visited the pizzeria. I don't think there's too much else to say about this though. Of course, you can see at the top of the screen again, we can pan the camera in this particular hallway. So this is one of the movable cameras, which is a new gameplay mechanic, which I think looks really, really cool. The final image is from another new room. We can see Helpy next to a high voltage power unit, and his face is actually all eroded. Half of it has been burned away, and you can just see the animatronic form underneath. It's pretty creepy actually. You can see his little animatronic eye peeping out there. And then we can see like how much power is actually left there. I don't know if that actually corresponds to the power left on our our hand unit as well, because we are on 33% and that looks like it roughly matches up to 33%. And also the usage looks like it actually matches the usage on that power point too. If you can see, there's 4 bars of usage. Yeah, there's 4 bars of usage on there. So it does seem like it kind of corresponds roughly with the readout on our hand unit there. There's a generator in that room as well, loads of cabling. What looks like some kind of water or, well, it looks almost inky, but I think it's just dark water on the floor there. Not really safe to have all those cables straddling through like water and water pooling up next to a power unit, but once again, it's Fazbear Entertainment. They don't really care about safety, despite what their posters may say. And once again, that seems to have translated to the universe that FNAF Plus takes place in. This is 3 AM Night 2, and I think that's about all we can say in regards to this image. So there we go guys, that was a brief look at each of the new screenshots and the gameplay footage for FNAF Plus. I'm really excited for this particular fan project. I don't know if we can call it a fan project at this point because it is part of the official Fazbear Fanverse Initiative. So it's going to be like an officially released FNAF game that I think appears on Steam and stuff. You know, visually it looks really strong, the animations are great, the atmosphere's fantastic. I think he's doing a great job. So, you know, give the Twitter a follow and yeah, check this game out when it comes out. I'm sure it's going to be great. With that said, thanks for watching this video today and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to leave me a like, comments down below, and of course subscribe for more videos just like this one, and I will see you all on the next one.